Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I wanted to share a quick look at two cases made by Poetic for the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6. Now, Poetic did furnish me with these review samples. Essentially, they just reached out and asked me if I'd be interested in taking a look at what they've been making, and I'm familiar with Poetic, so I said, sure, send them over, especially since the Galaxy Tab S6 is the best Android tablet ever made, but unfortunately, the best available case at launch time was Samsung's keyboard book cover case, which accomplished many things, but also left a lot to be desired between its high price point and the back cover, which seemed to be well designed, constantly falling off. This magnetic adhesive combination, suction cup, whatever you want to call it, just doesn't stay on. No matter how much I clean it, re-adhese it, apply pressure, let that pressure take time, it doesn't matter. So here we've got two alternative solutions, far less expensive, and I know they will serve their purpose. So the first one here is the Poetic silicone skin. This is a, I believe, $17 case that I think is going to accomplish exactly what it sets out to do. Now, I didn't pick the color. I just said, send whatever you'd like. So let's take a look. Oh, let's take a look at what they did send. And this appears to be the black color. And both of these cases do have a spot for the pen to still be accessible. It leaves all of your ports still open. The ability to dissipate heat is still there. Fairly straightforward. You can see it right there if it comes into focus. Let's see. There it is. So the pen slot right here, camera, hole cut out, speakers are accommodated, charging is accommodated. Seems like a fairly straightforward skin. So let's go ahead and try dropping the Tab S6, which right now has the pen on there, in here and see what it looks like. I'm going to go ahead and remove the pen, get this in there. And I think that the Tab S6, as I've mentioned, is really one of the best tablets ever made. Of course, within the Android realm, the best. And I just wanted to see some cases that actually, fit and did what they were supposed to. So there's the Tab S6 right now inside of the silicone skin from Poetic. And again, at $17 US, I mean, it feels good, looks good, and then you still have the ability to accommodate recharging and access to your pen. So that's one. Let's go ahead and move on to the other. And the buttons are still accommodated. I mean, nothing is really blocked here in terms of ports, microphones, cameras. They've thought of everything they needed to, but they've been doing this for a while, so I'm not surprised. Let's take a look at the more expensive option, which is the Revolution, which has 360 degrees of coverage, includes a screen protector as well. I may have to use the knife for this. Thought I would just cut it right open. But this case, I anticipate, is going to be the one that I personally prefer a little bit more. Now, I wish these cases were compatible with Samsung's keyboard cover, at least, because that is really a must-have for Galaxy Tab S6 owners. But unfortunately, I don't think either of them can accommodate it. You can already see the more premium, well, I can feel it, the more premium build on this. Hard plastic backing, no coverage for the pen. I mean, the pen can fall off, so be aware of that. I would have loved to have seen Poetic incorporate some sort of mechanism to keep the pen, I don't want to say a flap like Samsung did, but that wouldn't have been terrible. But there's your front screen protector. So it looks fairly competent to me from what I can see. Let's go ahead and pop it off. I don't want to damage that in any way. Trying to see where I would get it looks like that's the pry point right there. So let's see if I can get that out. It should just pop out. Let's see if I can make that happen. Might be more difficult than I think it's going to be. They do have a sealed protection here for the charging port, something on the silicone they opted not to incorporate. Not sure why, because that seems like a decent idea. And also not a new one. And there's the kickstand with the Revolution branding on it. Let's see if I can get this thing off. I don't want to break anything, nor do I want to damage the actual plastic. That's it. Pretty simple. I didn't have to do much because you do have a silicone edge here going around the actual Revolution case. And there, that just popped off. Hopefully it didn't do any damage to the front protection. Looks like it scuffed it a little bit. And that's just coming right off, so that, or I think it is. Maybe not. No, it's coming off. Okay, and so with that off, let's go ahead, get this out of its silicone skin. And I have to say, the silicone skin is a nice option. I just think that it fits well. You know, it looks good, looks the way you'd expect it to look. The hard case, I feel like, is more of whether or not you're looking for this sort of fit and finish. So I'm going to go ahead and drop the bottom in first. And this is a much looser fit. I assume that's going to change as soon as I put the screen protector on. We're going to see right now. Let's see how this works out, shall we? See if I can notch it in. Let's get that kickstand closed up, which right now is popped out. You just got to, I'll show you after I get this closed up exactly how that works. So there's a lot of room on this. I'm almost wondering if I should have put this on first. And I'm sure there are instructions. Forgive me for not looking at them. I'm probably making this look much more complicated than it actually is. So I'm going to actually pop this back out. And I'm going to try exactly what I was just saying, which is just dropping it in like this, which is absolutely the correct way of doing it. Can see that now? Completely correct, as long as I have it lined up correctly, which I do. So then this snaps on, gets nice and snug, and now you're pretty much done. And I may have let some dust get under there. You can see the camera sensor, everything there is still accommodated, so that's exactly what you want. And then since that's the pry point, I'm gonna aim to get that in there last, well, even though it seems to be going first. Let's see. And this is basically just a shell around the edge of the tablet, so I've seen cases like this before, even though I'm apparently having problems. And I'm sure I'm making this look much more complicated than it actually is, because it's just popping in now. And there we have it. You're going to see it. And this reminds me a lot of, you know, an OtterBox style case. And of course, Poetic's doing it at a much more affordable price. I happen to like this a lot. So you've got your hard case and screen protection. I don't think it will interfere at all with actual accuracy or touch accuracy. I think everything's going to be fine, and yeah, it looks to be working to me. And then the pen, which shot out and tried to run away, which is right here, I'll just go ahead and pop that on the back, and you will see that, of course, it is unimpeded. But again, on the flip side, it can still fall out. So I wish that wasn't the case, but everything's accommodated. This has shock protection, 360 degrees, still have access to everything. This is definitely the more premium of the two. And again, at $27, still very affordable. So there you have it. Two, I would say, good alternatives. $17, $27, nothing's going to break the bank, and it'll get the job done when it comes to protecting your Galaxy Tab S6. Any questions or comments? Actually, before I do that close, take a look at the kickstand. I did mention that I was going to show you that. So right there, that's what locks in. Then it's upright. You're good to go. I really like that. So this is already instantly, earning some points with me. Wish it had the keyboard capability. If they would have just left a cutout for the Pogo, but that wouldn't have really done it. They would have had to leave coverage on this whole side. They would have had to design a case specifically in tandem for that. Maybe they will, who knows. I wish a manufacturer would. And then to unlock it, you just push that up and that's it. So once you push in that secondary part right there, because that's what locks down here. That's it. And a story. At any rate, two nice cases, affordable, and I think going in the right direction if you're looking, again, to protect your Tab S6. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them at that like button. And as usual, now this time, feel free to subscribe. Later.